Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is James Gunn's final chapter in this trilogy and his final project with Marvel Studios. So it goes without saying that this movie had to be special, and I'm really happy to say that James Gunn delivered. In fact, I'm gonna be bold enough to say that this has been the best movie that Marvel has released ever since Endgame. Now, before I get crucified, I do realize that this wasn't a perfect movie. In fact, I'll be the first one to admit that Adam Warlock was wasted in this movie. The High Evolutionary was not a great villain. Some comedic moments didn't really hit the landing, and the near-death moment for Peter Quill towards the end, not a big fan of it. However, despite all those things, I can't stop myself from loving this movie for not being afraid to show us pain and darkness, and also for letting those emotional moments exist without interruptions to make a joke.
Someday, I'm gonna make great machines that fly. And me and my friends are gonna go flying together into the forever and beautiful sky. Lila, and Teefs, and Floor, and me. Rocket.
Rocket. It really is good to have friends.
There was something about us, the audience, being thrown in the middle of those nights when Rocket was just hanging with his friends and they were just having honest conversations. They were creating names for themselves. They were dreaming about what's above them, the sky, the new world. There was just something so touching and effective about those moments that only made the scene when Rocket eventually loses his friends really painful. By the time we get to this point, you're kind of prepared for it. I mean, the movie opens with Creep by Radiohead. Just like in the previous movies, the tone for the films are established in the first few scenes. For this movie, we established the tone right away when it opens with Rocket and he's holding that card that means nothing to us, but for Rocket, it means so much. And even though the team is like his family, he never shared his guilt, the guilt that he felt for thinking that he let his friends die. I'll be honest, there were a few times where it was an emotional moment happening, but I was kind of on the edge of my seat, hoping that it wouldn't stop to make a joke just like we've seen in previous movies. But I'm glad that that wasn't the case here. All the moments with Rocket hit me and they were touching. But there were also two other moments with Nebula that I want to highlight. The first one is when they're all watching the footage of Rocket being experimented on, and then the camera cuts to Nebula and you can just see the pain in her face. She was the only one in that room that could relate to Rocket, and I don't know, man, that moment just hit me. The second one is towards the end of the movie after they manage to save Rocket and they hear his voice for the first time. Nebula's reaction, again, it just got me. Not too long ago, this character hated her sister, but now she really cares for everybody in the team. And let's not forget that when everybody got snapped in Infinity War, her and Rocket were the only ones left. So they must have had a lot of moments where they bonded, so she really cared for Rocket. Remember in the beginning of the video when I said that this has been the best movie that Marvel has put out since Endgame? Well, I actually came to that realization at the end of the movie when the credits were rolling, and they did this thing with pictures from previous movies where they made him look like pictures that were taped to the screen. And maybe I'm overthinking it, but that small detail right there just shows how personal these movies are to James Gunn, how he really cares for these characters and these stories. And as a creator, I really appreciated that. And that's something that you don't feel often when you consume these movies and music. It's rare when you feel the care and love that the creator put into something. Alright, and that's all I have. As dark as this movie was, I had a really good time with it. And then coming here and just putting my thoughts into the microphone, just really fun as well. I appreciate you guys watching. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching again. Bye bye.